Hi there, my name is James Damon and I'm the finance manager for the Asda ADC depot in Lutterworth. I've been in role now for 17 years.
Hi, my name's Georgina Thompson. I'm the finance administrator for Lutterworth ADC and I've been in the role for 8 months. It might sound silly, but in the world of logistics, what is finance?
So when people hear the word finance, they kind of think about things like accounting, taxation, bookkeeping, balance sheet reconciliation, and all that kind of controllership world. In a logistics world, in our environment, finance is a lot more around data, analyzing, collation of data, providing a story with the numbers to give the operators, so the leadership team, direction in their jobs, but also measure how a site's performing in varying KPIs, so key performance indicators. So, Georgina, can you give me an overview of your career to date, please?
I've been working in logistics now for, say, 13, 14 years. I started off at a third-party logistic provider in an administration role, collating drivers' working hours and sending this information up to the payroll office for them to process the payroll with regards to the tax and national insurance for the driver, and then looking at any pay queries that they may have. Unfortunately, the business that I worked for went into administration, so then I was then approached by Asda to help with the work that I used to do, because all the drivers 2P'd over to Asda. And then I was then given a full-time contract with Asda as a people services, so dealing with data entry and inputting any clocking queries that may have arisen with the colleague themselves. And then I was approached by yourself to come and work in the finance admin team. James, could you give us an overview of your career, please?
So I've been now with Asda for over 17 years. I kind of joined the business as a transport finance clerk, so looking just after the transport operations on a college level, so providing basic numbers and data to the then finance manager at the time. Then I was lucky enough to have an opportunity to cover maternity leave as a finance coordinator, at which point I was then had a team of, I believe, 3 people working for me, and then did that for a couple of years. And then after that, I was then lucky enough to be given an opportunity to cover the finance manager role. When my then manager went on to a career break, and then I was been doing that ever since then, which is about 5 years now. So very much progression through the different levels of the finance role in the logistics. Could you give me a snapshot then of what your daily and weekly tasks look like?
Daily is generating reports for the site for the morning meeting that the managers attend, and then raising purchase orders and receipting purchase orders for the depot. It could be anything from toilet roll to repairing for a lorry, so it's very wide broad spectrum of what I do. There's KPI reporting that I do for business, and there's lots of other little reports with regards to people's attendance, by the order the fuel for the site to make sure we've got enough fuel for the site to send out the vehicles that go to either the distribution centres or to store, and just monitor those to make sure that we don't run out. Otherwise, if we did, we wouldn't be able to run as we do. James, what's your daily, weekly tasks?
So daily, I'll attend the morning meeting with the input that you give me for that. What I then do is I then will look at the depot performance for the previous week. Um, Again, what the data that you've provided with from the KPI collection. Then on a Wednesday, we do our monthly projection where I will project the depot's costs for that given month. Then I also look at the stock P&L, so the stock accounts to see how that is looking on our inventory and liaise with the stock manager with any kind of store claims, any processing. Look at doing recharges to different operations and divisions within the business. So because we do such a broad spectrum of other logistics work, not just for the Asda stores, we also do stuff for TU, Click and Collect, and national work. Um, we do a lot of rechargeable work that is not within our business plan effectively, that we'll charge out. Then on a monthly basis, we also then look at doing a long-term risk and ops projection, where that will take a look at our costs over the coming year. And then as we go through the year and go towards the end of the year, we'll start doing our plans for the next year we do.
Do you have to be good to work in finance at maths?
So there's a kind of a bit of a misconception that you have to be good at maths to work in finance. In my opinion, there is maths involved with the finance role, but the maths that we do is generally basic. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, percentages. What's more important, in my opinion, with finance is critical thinking and logic, because the how you interpret the data or the numbers could have a massive impact on the actual answer, and it's not necessarily black and white. It's a lot more obscure. So there is maths involved with it, but at a basic level, I'd say it's more the logic of how you apply the maths to get the answer is more important.
What are the hardest challenges that you faced while in this job role?
So the hardest challenge that I've faced in recent years was last year when we had a complete depot conversion on a warehouse system. So we've gone from one warehouse ordering system to a new one. That caused a lot of understandably teething issues at the start of it, which meant that certain data that was being collated routinely was on different systems, it wasn't feeding through correctly. So the attention to detail had to be a lot more intense to make sure that you wasn't missing volumes or you wasn't missing particular parts of the puzzle as such. Coupled with that, at the same time, we also landed a new payroll system. Along with that, then came a new way we did our payroll accounting of hours. So, in a very short period of time last year, we went through, as a department, about 4 or 5 key system changes, which all impacted us directly, which meant that we were kind of all learning again from the ground up and having to ask lots of questions. We had to be very resilient with that, plus the amount of change that was involved.
James, what's your highlight of your career today?
So, from a career progression perspective, there are kind of 2 highlights that have kind of helped me get from a colleague to where I am now. And those were when I was given the opportunity to cover the finance qualitative role, but it was maternity leave. And the other one was when I was given the opportunity to then cover the finance manager's role. Interestingly, when I kind of first joined the business, I didn't want to be a finance manager. I was very much happy in my ways of just kind of like doing the motions and just doing that kind of college level work. But clearly, my managers at the time spotted something in myself and my abilities that had potential to push myself. And it's through them spotting it and actually pushing me at those boundaries that have led me to where I am now. And then on a project basis, I guess, I was part of the initial conversion from Kronos to WorkBrain project. So that was at the time one of the biggest single system changes in the business, that I was supporting them from a depot logistics payroll level, which was landed successfully after a lot of meetings and project calls and stuff. So, Georgina, could you give me kind of 3 key skills that helped you to do your job in finance?
The 3 main skills I would say is attention to detail, being able to see whether something is wrong, because obviously you're dealing with numbers and things, to hopefully see that it stands out clearly. The ability to cope with your OCD, make sure that everything is how you want it. So then if I'm reporting numbers and then later on you're reporting from my numbers, and it's got to be 100% correct. So yeah, we do talk a lot to make sure everything's okay. And the other one would be resilience, with being able to cope with the volume of the work that comes through that we deal with daily.
Georgina, if you was to start your career again from scratch, is there anything that you would do differently?
I don't think I would, because I'm more of a hands-on girl. So I started a long time ago on what was called a YTS scheme. For me, I didn't want to go on to college, but the scheme worked for me because I was able to get a level 2 in business admin, which was great. And then obviously I've progressed and gained knowledge and experience with Excel, which has helped definitely with the role that I'm in now. So for me, I wouldn't, because I'm more of a hands-on person. I don't, didn't enjoy school. So I just wanted to go out and
get into
learn.
the real world and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. James, what do you see yourself doing in your career over the next few years?
So I would like to believe I will still be in the finance manager role, but my aspirations are to still progress my career within finance. At a level within the depots, I am as high as I can get now. So I'd look at other finance roles within the business, commercial finance manager, maybe, to try and continue my learning and push my boundaries and try and see how far and how much more value I can add to the business across a wider peripheral rather than just the local depot.
How do you see finance changing in the next 5 years?
So, with the advancements in AI and how we are now utilizing dashboards a lot more to kind of collate data and to report data, I can only see things in finance getting better with more access to data, a lot more readily and a lot more easier. I believe still with even the advancements in AI, that there still needs to be a human touch point because of how dynamic finance can be in terms of the role itself and the data and the KPIs. You kind of alluded to it earlier on where we have to do a lot of sense checking and it's spotting anomalies, building that kind of trend, knowing what's right, what's wrong. I think that will still have to be part of finance in years to come. But I do believe it will get a lot more automated. There'll be a lot more AI there, a lot more dashboards to create more dynamic data sets that make it easy to access for all levels of colleagues within the business.
James, tell me about your educational background.
So my background in education is quite sparse. You might think that you're a finance manager, you've got degrees, and you've got SEMA, and you've got some kind of like accounting qualification. I've not. So I joined Asda just with my ASs, so my half an A level effectively. All I had when I joined Asda was basic Excel knowledge, and I was pretty good at maths. I had known nothing about logistics, nothing about distribution, nothing about Asda or how that whole world operates. I kind of joined with a blank canvas. But what I did have, which I think is really important in any role, is a can-do attitude that I wanted to learn. I wanted to do a good job, and ultimately, then through many years of doing the job, I want to do more and press further. So it's kind of funny that I came in. I'm now at a finance manager level, but didn't actually, or I don't actually have any formal qualifications in accounting. But I just feel like it's more important to have the right behaviours sometimes than it is to necessarily have that skill set. Because if you want to do a good job, then you're going to put more effort into learning it and into pushing further and learning more and more and more.